Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to today's Water Cooler Chat, where we talk about all things Livepeer, whether it's delegating, broadcasting, transcoding, AI inference, or developing on the Livepeer network. We're here to ask questions and get answers. So we've got a few topics ahead of us. Topics like payment stream into the UI, in the Explorer UI, Nvidia patching, ticket errors, Flipguard, governance working groups, and beta versions of the Live Pioneers app. So let's kick off. We're gonna kick off with a bit of governance side of things, and then we're gonna go into like the Flipguard stuff, and then we'll end off with technical things like the ticket errors and patching and stuff like that. So I'd like to kick off real quick with a forum post that I published a few days ago. It's in the governance channel, and I can link it here. This was just a small example of how we could include the payment stream contract that was deployed a couple months ago. There's currently 2 SPEs using it, and I created a forum post on how we could implement this into the Explorer UI. And right now, I'm basically just looking for feedback on, whether this is a good idea, a bad idea, whether this is something the community wants or it's just not worth the effort of embedding it directly into the Explorer. So if you get a chance, maybe just after this water cooler, swing by the forum post and just leave your comment, even if it's a simple, hey, great, this looks awesome, just a thumbs up, or criticisms. Nico has already, made a suggestion on other ways of doing it. And we've kind of gone back and forth in the governance channel, so you can catch up on that. Yeah, I'm basically just looking for feedback on adding that directly to the Explorer. So, yeah, please leave your feedback. Does anyone have any comments they'd like to share in voice chat while we're here? If not, it's all good. It's a relatively new forum post. It's also just a pretty small upgrade. I don't think it's overly breaking changes in anything. So yeah, read the forum posts. See if the concept and mock-up there is something that you agree with or disagree with. So that'll be the first topic around governance. The second one is Rich's topic. Rich, tell us what your topic is, the governance working group, what you're working on, and yeah, bring it. Let us know about your topic.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So this is still very much work in progress. I'll be sharing something on the forum probably later this week. But effectively, I brought this up in the Treasury talk that I was running last week. Obviously, when we're dealing with the on-chain Treasury and we're trying to allocate huge amounts of capital effectively, and we're trying to do so in a decentralized manner, obviously, initially we jumped to writing smart contracts, and we have this amazing thing set up, which automatically renews over time and fills the coffers. I think my experience, I've been with the Livepeer ecosystem team for 6 months now. I feel like we're at a stage where actually allocating treasury funding to fund public goods, network goods as they can be called, that fuel the progress of the Livepeer ecosystem and obviously drive research and development. I think we're at a stage where actually having more considerations around governance, writing up clearer documentation, thinking more about LIPs in the future. For instance, we were speaking, Titan, the other day around like how do you know when we should be merging your merging code into the main the main repo, so the main smart contract. So this is something where I feel actually having a committee of people, first of all, which initially can be either selected or based around certain criteria, and then over time progressively decentralized to be elected by the community. And these group of people, which try and represent different stakeholders. So obviously there'll be people from Livepeer Inc. There'll be orchestrators, SPE members, potentially delegators in the long run, would have some say in what's called stewarding the on-chain treasury. So that's obviously not managing centrally; it's making recommendations to the broader community, and obviously having a mandate, particularly when you've been elected by these different stakeholder groups. So this is something that I would like to start slowly but surely. Start with a working group that meets once a week operationally, and once bi-weekly for more strategic matters. And I say this now because I'm looking for people who are interested in governance, who are maybe familiar with other adjacent ecosystems like Gitcoin or Arbitrum, Optimism. They all have made a huge amount of progress in terms of research development into governance of DAOs, large on-chain treasuries. And if anyone is interested and particularly wants to get involved at an early date, I would love to have this happen quite naturally. Similar with the recent developer coordination calls that have just come on. It would be a similar sort of concept moving forward, and then looking to potentially migrate into an SPE once the committee has some sort of recognition from the community and credibility. So I'll pause there. I realize that's quite a lot without slides, but I'm open to questions. Feel free to ask away. And there is going to be a forum post coming out later, which will go into more detail.
Yeah, that was a lot, and I really good to hear that we have Rich leading the charge on this type of task, because this is huge. So Rich, when it comes to building out these processes, I guess, is this a new SPE you're proposing, or is this just formalizing, SPE formations for other people to have a blueprint?
So initially it would start as what I'm calling a working group, which is a sort of like proto SPE. This is a group of people that represent different stakeholders and have a degree of either expertise in governance or expertise in the Livepeer ecosystem. Initially, this would be funded primarily by Inc. and grants, and also have a number of volunteers a small number of volunteers from the community that would benefit in the long run from seeing a better capital allocation on the on-chain treasury. So I'm calling it a working group. It would probably stay like that for the timeline is probably September to November would be the sort of formation and early planning of the working group. And then we would apply for SPE funding. And that's when we would look to create things or be more executional. So, documentation around starting an SPE needs a lot of work. Having transparency tooling for SPEs to easily report, so you don't have to listen to me for an hour a week on Treasury Talk. Having what are the other points? Having advising the community on collective budget frameworks. So as we get more people applying to build SPEs, actually we need to be careful as a community that we don't overspend. So think of it as inflation, right? You aim for a 2% inflation rate, but actually on a monthly or quarterly basis, it's fine if you hit 1 or 3%, but you want to keep within those that target range. So yeah, the idea would be to form the working group initially to really define the core challenges and then apply for SPE funding. And it would act as a meta SPE to help other SPEs and governance in general.
The SPE to help SPEs. I like it.
Exactly.
Like a crane, using a crane to build another crane. Like that's a big That's a big crane. That's amazing.
It's got to be done.
Where and when is this going to get started, and how can people get involved?
So in the forum post, it will detail out when to do the first call. The first call will probably take place in either the penultimate or final week of September. Before then, I'll be looking to sort of form the committee, and I'd appreciate all the orchestrators, even if you don't want to, and SPE members, even if you don't want to do it yourself, if you nominate other people, that's actually the best way to do it. And there will be, in the short term, or in the medium term, sorry, we'll be looking to have some sort of election framework, which can be done on chain, where you can vote in different people. But for this first edition, it really, I want it to be everyone's there who's sort of self proposes. So forum post coming out later this week. There'll be concrete details of how you can get involved and when the first meeting will be. But in the meantime, please reach out to me either on the governance channel or just Rich. Just add me as a friend on Discord and send me a DM.
Very cool. Anyone else have any questions for Rich about the SPE for SPEs? Right on. Well, we're looking forward to the forum post. Please let us know when you got it posted, and yeah, we'll give feedback as we see fit. And yeah, thank you for taking the initiative.
Thank you for taking the time. Have a wonderful rest of the talk.
Cheers. Okay, let's continue on. Let's continue on to N's topic around the Flipguard launch. I think the one and only Authority Null is with us, but N, why don't you kick us off with how it went? What is Flipguard? How does it work? What just happened? I mean,
Yeah.
I was following closely because I was competing heavily, trying my best, and
I guess the first question I had is because I Monday started off busy. I wasn't able to check in on the details of the winners. But did anyone win from Livepeer's Discord, or did we get beat?
I didn't recognize anyone.
Okay. Yeah, Authority Null, if you want to get into it, I feel like you're the subject matter expert here, but if not, I can go over it.
Oh, we can't hear you if you're trying to
Yeah,
talk.
we can't hear you.
Technical difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Which there were none during Flipguard, which I was really impressed by the way. So for the entire event, the two events in the Livepeer Discord and then the main one in the Flipguard channel, I had no errors with the Flipguard product.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Pretty solid integration there with Livepeer AI. Yeah, so I can go over it, and maybe Null can jump back in when his mic is working. But regardless, Flipguard is a Discord bot that does a bunch of things. But as a member of the AI startup program, they were integrating with Livepeer AI, and their integration was another part of their bot, which allowed for text to image creation as well as events that you could guess the prompt. So last week was their launch week, and basically we had some events in here. The bot's actually still in our Discord, so if you go to the memes channel, you can type /Jan and just play around. I always have a good time just generating images. But basically, they had a competition where a number of Discord's servers that use their bot participated, and they ended up generating almost 32,000 requests on Livepeer AI. And like Titan said, very few failures. There's maybe some longer wait times during the peaks, but all the jobs were completed. So yeah, I just wanted to give hats off to their incredible launch. It really blew up, and I'm excited that Livepeer could have sponsored it, as well as thankful that y'all are in the AI startup program. So yeah, I mean, I had a great time. I feel like it kind of made me insecure because everyone's was so good, and I really was struggling. So so yeah. Anyway, very. Lots of you have really, really good imaginations. I thought I did, but clearly I don't think I do. So anyway, that's kind of the overview. Super exciting stuff. If you want to catch more details about them coming up, we're having our demo day in early October, which will be highlighting all the startups in the startup program, Flipguard being one of 8. So super exciting stuff. More details to come soon about registration for the demo day. But yeah, I think that's it. Unless other folks have any thoughts, questions, feelings.
Can you guys hear me now?
There it is.
Ah, yes, perfect
Awesome.
timing.
Awesome. Yeah,
How'd
I
I
think
do?
and pretty much gave a good breakdown. If there's anything specific, Titan, you want me to talk about or talk about Flipkart, just let me know.
I mean, just if anything comes up for you, anything you want to share about the experience, how you're feeling after it, because you've been a member of the Livepeer community for a long time. So just curious if you have any thoughts, feelings, reflections. But if not, no worries.
Yeah, I think it went really freaking well. Didn't really know what to expect from the launch. The startup peaks kept asking us like, how many GPUs do you need for the event? How many this or that? And I'm just like, I have no idea. If we're gonna do 50 images or 50,000, we didn't know. But the event went really well. We had no complaints from anyone. Nobody saying it was unfair after, which usually that's the case with these sort of things. But yeah, we had about 10 different communities around Discord, different projects, token projects, NFT projects, all running independent events using our event system, which makes it really easy to run like generative AI events. And then the final event was in our Discord server where we had about 100 winners that all competed for a bunch of really cool prizes. Thanks to Livepeer for sponsoring that. But yeah, it went super well. The first 4 hours of the main event was crazy on the network. I really appreciate Pawn and Brad and Rick for spinning up GPUs to handle the Flux dev model capacity requirements there. But yeah, it was really great, and I think we're gonna continue running weekly smaller events to keep demand coming into the network. And then we're also talking to an app chain on Cosmos called Stargaze that saw what we did and might want to do something similar as well. So now it's sort of, the integration is out there. It's something you can add to your Discord server. It's free to use for now. So our job right now is just to keep interest up and keep the bot, getting added to new Discord servers and keep growth up and, keep marketing why this bot is different from other, many other image generator bots out there. Yeah, it's been great.
Thank you so much.
Hey, this is Carbon.
Hey, Carbon.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to add a comment as well. Just throwing this out there, like the bot was really easy to install, and I think folks that are interested in building Discord integrations should really look to the experience that they built as kind of like a reference, because it was really a great experience getting installed between just the way that the interface is built within Discord, and then also onboarding instructions were really robust. And so just wanted to give a shout out to that. It was really great experience installing the bot as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think that was like our main push to make our experience different to Midjourney, for example, was to work around Discord's clunky UI and UX as much as possible and just build the most user-friendly AI generator that you could get in Discord. And I think we did pretty well there.
Absolutely. Great work.
Yeah. Last reflections from me. It's been a pleasure working with the Flipguard team, and I think they built something really incredible. And I'm excited to see where you guys go from here. And excited for demo day, of course. So yeah, again, great job. And I just really can't get over. I thought I'd be so good at making AI images. I really thought I'd be so good at it. Anyway, yeah, that's it for me, Titan.
Cool. Yeah. No. It was a really good product and experience. I can share a few things, but first I'll open it up. Like, who else competed in the Flipguard tournament? And what was your experience of you interacting with it for the first time?
I did, and I think it was unfair. My image got voted down. It wasn't a lack of my creative talent, let's say that. I don't admit to that.
Was that in the memes chat, like in our Livepeer one?
No, it wasn't a Flipguard one.
Yeah, we had a whole bunch of trolls going around just downvoting everyone's images to try and, they thought maybe it would boost theirs if they downvoted everyone else's, but luckily that metric isn't counted for anything. It's just there because YouTube removed their dislikes, and I think there should be dislikes on everything if there's likes, so we added it.
No offense there. It was a joke. I think my image wasn't
Oh,
that
yeah,
great
no,
either. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you had the odds. I think the Livepeer guys had the odds stacked against them because there were a lot of very aggressive, degenerate communities competing, and they got all their friends in to vote their images up.
Right.
I didn't even make it to the main event. I pretty much got beat down in the Livepeer one and didn't even make it to the main event. But it was fun. I was checking it out all weekend, looking at everyone's on Livepeer and also in Flipguard. It was a lot of activity going on, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, for me, I've got some feedback, but otherwise, yeah, as for the actual competition, my strategy, obviously, I won the first one with my Homer Simpson asking how much they can earn with 130 90s, and I thought, hey, okay, like there's like a subculture of like I felt it really interesting that I could create a meme that only this Discord channel would even understand what I'm saying, right? Like I was able to create a Homer Simpson meme, and people got it immediately. Like, yeah, that's if you've been in Discord, if you've been around this community for long enough, like every once in a while you get like a 16-year-old kid that just shows up and is like, yeah, I've got like a bajillion GPUs. How much am I gonna make, right? And it's kind of just like a funny thing that's happened over the past, especially in the bull market. If you're here in 2021, that was a lot of people coming in from their ETH mining days. So that was my strategy, was to use the flux.dev model to add text, give it more context, and I won the first Livepeer round, and then my strategy for the Flipguard challenge was stick to the plan, stick with the Homer Simpson meme. Maybe that's the way. And I couldn't think of like a meme or anything that would make sense in the Flipguard channel, because I'm a new person. I don't really, there's not really much history behind Flipguard, so I just went with the Hawk2a meme. Just Homer Simpson confused face like at a computer, like Hawk2a, like what? And I had high hopes, but I definitely didn't place. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Phoenix and I were having a lot of fun with it, which was great.
Dang, we got beat down in the main event.
Yeah, I got absolutely steamrolled by. Yeah. So
I'm happy everyone tried though. Like hats off. I'm proud of all of you for trying.
I mean, Livepeer wins in the end, right? I think at least one of the winners is staking now as a new delegator on the network. So, the demand came to Livepeer. So the real winners, at the end of the day, it's Livepeer.
No, it was absolutely great.
You said you had some feedback, Titan, as well?
Sure. Phoenix, did you want to say something? You unmuted yourself.
Yeah, I just wanted to say really big congratulations to Authority for creating something so amazing and so user-friendly. I think people absolutely loved it, so well done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I do have some feedback and some questions, just because I know a little bit about the back end stuff. So I've got a couple technical and a couple products. So we'll start with like technical, or we'll start with product questions. Why don't we start with that? So, actually, no. I'm going to write this down. I'm going to go through how I wrote this down. Okay, so technical questions. Technical question was, who is the gateway behind Flipguard?
We have our own gateway running right now.
Awesome. Right. And is it one gateway? Is it geolocated, multiple gateways? How is that set up?
Right now, it's a gateway we're running, and then as a backup, it's the Livepeer Cloud gateway, which I know they have geolocated and a bunch of backups there. So if ours fails, we go to them.
So you have one gateway node in the United States.
Yes.
And that was good enough to handle all requests from everywhere?
Yeah, about 500 of the 32,000 requests went to the Livepeer Cloud gateway, but otherwise everything came through our single gateway.
And of those requests from that gateway, are all the requests being served basically in North America, or were they able to go to Europe to get inferenced over there? Like, what was the timeout? How did that look? You guys follow that at all?
And we have those stats. I mean, generally it was pretty quick, regardless of the region where the requests were coming from or where they're being sent to in terms of orchestrators. It was negligible for us. For us, the length of time that increased was really more of models not being available and us having to queue requests. So I wouldn't say there were many issues or delays based on just us having one gateway in the US.
So the gateway wasn't rejecting nodes for being too far away?
No, it wasn't.
Cool. Yeah, because I'm just trying to think of, like, with transcoding, we have this like super latent, high bandwidth, high data intensity, latency is important, distant, the path, how many hops it takes, these things really matter with something like live video. Whereas like with inference, the bandwidth not nearly as high, if any, really. Like one image is pretty small compared to 2-second chunk of video, and then like inference doesn't require sending and then receiving data. You literally, well, I guess you could, I'm just thinking of like a network standard, like are is location going to be as important going with AI orchestrators? And I'm hoping it doesn't. So I'm hoping that the AI work that orchestrators get to do, they get to just house their GPUs near them where they like to have them, and they don't have to do this like spreading out of GPUs. And then we're like redundantly having spread out GPU transcode. Kind of my hope.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead. No, you go ahead and I'll go after you.
Yeah, I was going to say a large part of us getting a gateway up was thanks to Mike and Papa Bear and those guys for giving us the stack needed for Docker to get that up and running. I'm not the most technical, so probably wouldn't have been able to do it without their help. But once it was up, it's pretty straightforward. There isn't really much tweaking or anything needed. I don't think I've touched the gateway except for updating it throughout the last few months. Maybe put 20-30 minutes into it total. So it wasn't difficult, and it seems to be handling everything quite well. It is on a very beefy machine and a very beefy network. But other than that, it's been a breeze.
Yeah, and I was just going to say some preliminary anecdotal comments about geolocation is, as we're building out this Livepeer job tester for AI, some of the preliminary results that we're seeing in our testing is that location doesn't really matter that much. From region to region, org to org, it looks like a lot of the response times are really inference time more than it is latency or uploading and downloading. It looks like, you can run pretty much anywhere and use any org around the world, and it seems to be fast enough. I don't think there's an advantage to being close to a gateway as it was for streaming, but still more testing has to be done on the job tester. But that's just anecdotal. Some of the preliminary stuff we see.
Right, yeah, because I'm thinking like if there's a, I was having a conversation with the guys over there at they're doing GPU lending. Had a conversation with them, and basically they're going to be buying up clusters of H100s and then trying to find D-pin operators to operate them. And I was like, okay, that's great, but I want to make sure that like the Livepeer network, like if there's a cluster in Singapore, like does the responses from North America just not ever get there, even though it's got the amazing horsepower behind it? Or are we like if we were with transcoding, or are we more like no, it doesn't matter where your H100s are located, they're still just as viable, if not more viable, because you're getting such fast inference time, right? So
Yeah, we'll be able to answer that question a little bit more definitively as we get closer to releasing our job tester. But right now it's looking real promising that the region won't matter. So we'll see how it pans out though in the end.
Yeah, and Brad actually had an H100 up and running for the event, and it was pretty insane compared to Pawn's A100, which was doing the Flux Dev model at like 18 seconds a request. Brad was under 10 seconds, I think, but he was pulling 700 watts. So that's something I think power is going to come into play a lot more for orchestrators, figuring out where their prices have to be to make that worth it.
So Brad, you're here. My second question was around the H100 you spun up. Like, tell us a little bit about that process, and are you still running it? Did you just rent it? Tell us a little bit about it.
I rented it on TensorDoc. Right when the event kicked off, the Flux dev model was getting hammered with requests, and with me and Pawn trying to keep up. And then, so I rented an H100, and it's ridiculously fast. It's kind of comical how fast it is. So I rented it for a few hours. When the request died down, since it's about $3 an hour, I took it down for a little bit. Pawn is a little bit faster than my setups on the Flux Dev model because he has an A100 on it. So he was getting a lot of the requests. So I pointed it as his orchestrator for a while and then switched it back to mine. So it was going back and forth.
Right.
But yes, it pulls 700 watts and it's under load. So I was happy that it wasn't in my house.
Is that 700 watts? That's not idle though. That's under load.
No,
that under max load? Because surely it could do multiple with the amount of RAM it has. Surely it could run up it could do like multiple of those models at the same time, right? Or did you just have one instance going?
I ran 2 instances of the Flux Dev on it because it was returning in like 3 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds on inference time on the node. So even if they were both running at the same time, it would be as fast as what me and Pawn were serving. So it helped take the pressure off of our workers.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. That's interesting. So yeah, so spin up the H100 for that event, and then spun it back down. So it's
yeah. Ideally, we'd all be able to do that. We just got to work out the mechanics of figuring that out, or getting the information to the orchestrators to know what models are wanted.
Right. So that was my next question, which is around like Pawn. Do you have insight, or not Pawn? Authority. Do you have insight into model usages? Was the default model that you selected just the most popular because it was the default, or was the flux.dev model just getting hammered? Like how did that look? Oh, unless Brad knows more, I don't know.
Yeah, we were pulling metrics from. I was a bit lazy and didn't set up gateway metrics, but we do have a Grafana dashboard up for our Google Cloud. So I'll put a screenshot in a moment of all of that stuff, like the default model and all the usage and time and everything. We had the ByteDance Lightning model as our default, just because it was readily available and it's pretty fast. Ideally, we would have had Flux Dev as default, which is what we have right now since demand has died down a bit. But yeah, the ByteDance model got a ton of use, 17,000 requests. But then once people started to realize that Flux could do what it can do, they switched over.
Very cool. Yeah. That was definitely an interesting thing. That goes into my feedback on the product, but yeah. So it sounds like people were messing around with the different models, trying to figure things out. Cool. Yeah. I think that's it for most of my technical questions. I wrote something down, but I don't know. What is demo day? Say that.
Did you? What is even that?
Oh yeah, what is? Oh yeah, demo day. Okay, now because I put what id. And I was like, what id demo day? I'm like, I have no idea what I just wrote. So then I said it out loud, and I'm going, I still don't know what that means. And now that you've said something, like, oh, this is demo day. I think this is for the Singapore thing. Okay, is that what this is for? Right? The
demo. So okay, demo day is. So you mean the AI startup demo day?
I don't know. I just
so demo day. The demo day I refer to is the demo day that's going to be for. It's a virtual demo day for the startups on October 9th. So that will be live streamed. But Token is a different event. That's Limitless, though there will be a few startups speaking at Limitless.
All right, cool. All right, that definitely answers that question. Thank you for chipping in there. Cool. Okay, I got some feedback on the product. So Authority, here we go. So a couple of things. First, I didn't know how to switch the models at first. It wasn't very intuitive that the slash menu was there. But that was literally just the first look. Once I found it, it was like obvious. Like the buttons and selections were fine, but I didn't. This is like super first impression, right? So you pop into the memes channel, and I'm like /gen, and then it's like I see someone has text, and I'm trying to get text, so I'm constantly telling it to make text, and then it's like not doing it, and then I ask, and oh, you can change the model. Oh, we can menu. So I don't know if there's a way to improve that, but just some feedback there. The other thing was I found it really fun. Like I was actually impressed by how much fun I was having. Like it was really cool just to like have a goal to do it. Like if you go to Midjourney, a lot of times you're just kind of messing around, or maybe you have a project that you need to do. This gave it like meaning, and because of that, it made it really fun because you're in a competition. So I think just like the competitiveness of it and trying to create ideas, yeah, I was impressively fun. Like I felt really engaged. I also felt really engaged in the Livepeer Discord because the memes within the Livepeer community are easier to follow because I'm more part of it. But then once I got over to the Flipguard channel, I lost a lot of context around what would work because these are strangers, right? So by kind of knowing the audience and their voting, it was fun to try and position. Whereas if you don't know your audience, I felt it kind of hard to come up with ideas, which goes into like my next thing around like biased voting, which was like, how do you know who was just voting for their own friends and who wasn't, and whether that matters or not? I don't know. Yeah, so that was a little feedback. I'm not sure what happened to the dislike button. It like was there and we didn't know what it did. I thought that if you had 10 upvotes and 5 downvotes, your score was 5. So that's how I interpreted it. And then just like one day the downvote button was gone, and I was like, wait, what just happened? And I was really confused because I thought, well, maybe the downvotes just got converted to upvotes. Probably wasn't true. And then so yeah, that was just really confusing. And then the downvote button came back, which is great. I like the fact there's an up and a down. But again, I thought it was like, a downvote canceled out the upvote. So clarification on how the voting works a little bit. And then other than that, these are like a lot of like criticism. So sorry, authority. This is like really nitpicky. The Flipguard server I found to be pretty busy and confusing when I first got there. I had a hard time finding like just there's so many channels, so I had just to navigate. Whereas the Livepeer one was really simple because it was all just within one channel, so you knew you were in the right place. Like, here's the competition that's happening here. Like, you don't have to go anywhere else. When you get to the Flipguard channel, it was like, no, this is the channel where, you know, the submissions are, and then this is like a chat channel, and then these are other channels for like other products or services that I haven't learned about yet. So, yeah, the Flipguard channel itself was overwhelming at first. But other than that, man, like, that was really fun. I really like the tipping. I really like the raffle tickets and stuff. You just get random gifts like for just being there. I don't even know how those worked, but those were kind of cool. And you could like check your balance and stuff. And Livepeer was the token of choice for rewarding people, which was like big shout out for driving awareness to Livepeer. The whole thing was just an incredible first product launch. So it was really, really impressive.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the feedback and agree with a lot of your points. I think we saw that too in the request. If you look at the screenshot, like a lot of people just stuck with the default model because they didn't know there was a menu there. And I think that's a very easy fix of just giving people a button to press as soon as they generate an image. So they know there's a settings and a menu and a way to link those two commands together. Definitely something we can push quickly. Yeah, the upvote, downvote, we had a mid-event update push where our dev woke up. He's in Europe time, so I was asleep. He woke up and took what I was asking him in the dev channel behind the scenes as like, oh, remove the downvotes and show people who the voters are. So yeah, that button disappeared in the middle of the event, and then we brought it back. Yeah, we couldn't really make the downvotes count as anything because then people will just, like you said, bring their friends in and troll and find ways to make sure people they don't like don't win. So it's just sort of vanity. But there's definitely ways we can better, present that. And then in terms of like actually knowing what to put, I think, or what to create, I think having a theme or, writing down some guidelines for community contests would probably help in the future so people have a goal of what to create. But yeah, I'm not sure if there was anything else specifically, but all the points you brought up, totally agree with and appreciate you for participating.
Yeah, a theme would be really awesome because then it gives you an idea of where to go. Like again, I was trying to go for like text, like a text meme kind of thing, and then who won was just like a beautiful image, and it's like, okay, I don't know if these people want like futuristic, like beautiful imagery, or are we going for political memes, or are we going for, it's I think a theme would be really, really, really helpful. So otherwise,
I wanted to plus one. I think that would be so helpful because I felt like starting from scratch was like really hard.
Yeah, and I think it's just as simple as, announcing that there is a theme to the competition. That's nothing crazy. Just gives people some guidelines. But I also agree, the Flipguard Discord, any Discord that like grows to a certain point that continuously introduces like new stuff, it just turns into just a complete mess. And that's in part to the people managing the servers, and it's in part to just Discord not being very good at scaling communities, because you ultimately just end up with 1,000 channels, which is really tough to navigate. But yeah, we'll figure that out. We do so much, like you said, that the tipping and stuff, like that's a whole nother side to the bot. That's sort of the underlying layer is on-chain engagement and wallets and stuff. So, all the prizes we gave out, the thousands of dollars worth of LPT, that was all sent out through tips in Discord so people could see the rewards coming through. And all the winners of Guess the Prompt games and stuff, it was all on chain in Discord. So, that requires more channels and descriptions and things. So a first timer coming into a Discord server like that, it can be a complete mind fuck, basically.
Sounds like time to branch out to your own website. It looks like there's enough content and activity that you can span the web and Discord and probably get a more clean user interface if you were web enabled. Just didn't know if you thought about it.
Yeah, for sure. We do have a dashboard, but it's going to be getting a facelift some point within the next few months, hopefully. It's also a bit old school, so lots of improvements and things we can do on our end, just in terms of our brand and stuff as well.
Cool. All right. Any other feedback for Authority on Flipguard?
Sorry, I feel like I took up so much time with that topic, but like you said, it's gonna be a big one, I guess.
Oh no, I knew it was gonna be a big one. Oh no, that's why it's like with topics, I usually just let's get the topic out of the way, because if we start discussing it in the introduction, it's like it either takes away from the real discussion, or it like is such a large, you don't realize how big of a topic it is, and then we'll never get through the introduction. So it's perfect just to be like, yeah, the Flipguard event, cool. And then when we get into it, organically, we just find out how long and big it goes. So, no, it's I think this is one of those things where I think a lot of us really care about demand on the network in Livepeer, especially orchestrators, because for the last years, that's kind of, we've always had lots of supply, and so now we want to see, we get really excited when we see demand happening. So now it's like, holy cow, here's an app that's really fun to use. It's integrated with Livepeer, and it's launching. And so, yeah, I think in general, we want to see that. We want to be able to see a end user app to be successful, and then on the flip side, make sure that we're technically prepared to handle all the demand, right? Like Brad's spinning up H100s, and we got to try and figure out all the different, infrastructure to handle this, to make sure it works for the UI and the user experience. So last question for Authority. Did people complain much about the queuing, the time? Like, I know sometimes I'm like, I'd just be like, oh, I'll come back to this later. Because I was like, this is going to take a while. For first hour it went, I was like, no, I'm doing like 3 generations at the same time. I'm like, I'm just going to come back in like 20 minutes. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, we had one complaint, and it wasn't as much of a complaint as it was like, I don't know what's happening sort of thing, because we don't present the queue right now. The queue upgrade that we did on our side was like a last minute thing, and it worked really well. But on the UI side, it just says the bot is thinking, and it will keep thinking if it's stuck in queue. So we're not presenting that. So someone was trying to use Flux Dev, and it was just thinking for like 2 minutes. So they were a little confused of what was going on there, but really, like overall, everybody took it really well. If things were slow, it didn't annoy people enough to come directly at us and open tickets and stuff. So pretty happy with how it went.
Right on. Any other feedback for Authority and Flipguard?
Oh, one thing I'll say is the pricing was really interesting. Like just from the gateway side, it seemed really fair, maybe even more than fair. Or maybe it's right on. I don't know. I'm not good with like calculating that, how much another service might charge, but I don't think we went over $200 sent out over the course of the entire 34,000 images that we sent out, or the requests that we sent. And we also did another 4,000 or 5,000 like internally before the bot actually launched, just to test it out. So it was a lot of requests, and I feel like it was pretty fairly priced. Not sure if anyone smarter than me has any insight to that.
That seems about right. The Flux Dev and Schnell were probably a little bit more, but the ByteDance should have been pretty cheap because they're pretty fast. And if you just do a straight division, it's like 0.006 cents per image. It's not that bad.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, no, I was talking with the guys at MetaStreet. That's them. They're the ones that are doing like GPU, on-chain GPU financing, ePIN infrastructure financing on-chain. Anyway, they were explaining how text-to-image is kind of the most profitable model for GPUs right now based on their research. Apparently, like LLMs, like text-to-text is like falling off a cliff. It's basically become so cheap, it's almost free. And then text to image is like kind of the sweet spot where you're getting the most bang for your buck because inference is only under a second to a few seconds and you get paid. And then apparently video is just unprofitable right now. And they kind of mentioned like any app to do with video is almost unprofitable. So, you know, that's a tough place to get into.
Why is it unprofitable? Just curious.
Video is just so heavy. It's just so heavy, and people don't.
I mean, images take like a few seconds. A lot of times, video will take a minute, so you can fit a lot less in per hour. Is basically what it boils down to.
So basically, the price has to be much higher.
Yeah, I mean, right now, because I think video is so early, there's just not a lot of product around it to kind of make a higher multiple on it, because a lot of people are going to compare it to what you can rent something per hour. And the game is being able to generate it fast so you can squeeze more into an hour on the operator side.
Yeah, their feedback was also like, historically over the last 20 years, like video has always been a really hard industry to get into because, I mean, this is why Livepeer was created because of the of handling video over the internet, right? And so like, Instagram does mostly photos. So its infrastructure costs are relatively low for the amount of advertising they can pump in there and get revenue out, right? Instagram becomes this like highly profitable machine because the infrastructure is serving images. And then you have Twitch, which is just live streams, and it's basically not profitable. It's so unprofitable that like Amazon had to buy it just because they wanted to like internalize it, and Twitch still barely makes a profit other than they get to transfer the infrastructure costs over to the parent company, right? So like, basically their thesis was like, let's get H100s and let's do text to image. It's kind of the meta right now.
Lot to think on. Interesting.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's Flipguard is probably in the most profitable intermediary of cost to revenue or cost to engagement, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. Text to image, the right place. But that can change, of course. Who knows? But yeah, I feel like if you're doing the exact same contest, but you're doing, text to video, right? So you're generating like, 37,000 inferences of video, and people are just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to type in like my dog sniffed a cat, and oh, it's not that great. Okay, and it's just constantly pumping out these like videos as throwaways, right? That becomes super intense. And not as disposable, whereas images are. So just to find my Homer Simpson saying, my how much can I earn with my 100x 3090s? It took me like probably 15 inferences of the exact same prompt just to get them to get the wording right. because it would always just like just say it wrong, right? How many GPUs do I need for 300x0 4090x question mark? Oh my god, this is not gonna make sense. So there we go. Any other comments or feedback for Authority? Right on. Okay, well, thank you, Authority, for putting that on. Let us know when you're going to do another competition in Livepeer. Memes channel was great. If you can bring a theme next time, I'm there. I'm definitely there. Be competing in every single one. Okay, let's continue on to some more technical topics. Pawn with ticket errors. Let's go with that. Pawn, tell us what kind of errors you're seeing.
Hey y'all. Right, so it's basically the same error as the last time. Round creation number is wrong, but I was just whooping around and managed to find ticket proxy broker actually, where you can redeem the ticket if it wasn't redeemed. I'll share in the chat now for everyone as well. So if anyone's gonna have an issue, you can redeem it manually using your proxy broker. So I shared the logs and basically 2 tickets. One got created just after round ended, and it had an old round number. And what it did, it stopped our ticket to get redeemed as well. So I had to remove the old ticket to get the other ticket redeemed. So it's just annoying when you need to monitor stuff like that. So it's basically, if you're gonna get more tickets, they all can get stuck in a queue, not redeemed. So just basically everyone keep an eye on it. I'm not really sure what's happening and why it's becoming an issue again. I think it's just me who's suffering from it as usual. Unique cases for me.
So is there a guide for how to redeem tickets if they are clogging up your system, or is this just you linking the contract?
Yeah, that's a contract. I haven't tried it out yet. I'm waiting for next ticket to get stuck. So I'm excited for next ticket to get stuck actually, to try to redeem it manually. So probably I can try to write up some kind of guide for everyone.
How many tickets have you had that got stuck like this? And is it in a particular region, or is there anything that you've deduced from what you've noticed?
It's particular region, my EU, so London node is suffering from it, maybe just because it gets most of the war coming into it. I'm not really sure. I think someone commented just RPC issues. I'm using the same RPC on other nodes as well. Block polling interval is set at standard, so I don't think that could be an issue.
One thing I noticed was there were some folks having problems with time zones. So if your RPC is on one time zone, like UTC, and you have a different time zone on your server, that's something to take note of. I don't know what time zone you're running, probably just your regional time zone. You might want to try UTC on your server, setting the time zone there. Just a thought.
All right, I can try it out actually. So basically saying to match the time zones between the server and RPC.
I mean, I don't think it should matter. I think it should all be translated. But if you needed something that's hopefully, give you a shot at addressing the concern, maybe setting UTC as a time zone could be helpful.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. See, does it change anything or not?
Anyone else having issues with redeem? I don't even check, so I don't even know if it's happening for me. Are these monitored in your in the Grafana dashboard?
Yes, it is. I'm just actually fixing the Grafana dashboard to reflect everything a bit more better.
I only have the tickets a day and total tickets. I don't actually have. Is it ticket redemption errors? Is that the one?
Yes, it is ticket redemption errors. I'll just throw everyone the same query that I'm using for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't check often. I check when you report errors, just because I don't want to see any errors on mine. But
Yeah,
if there's a dashboard for it, I definitely want to add that panel just so I can keep an eye on it.
Because what I think
yes,
I'm gonna create a on the side, maybe just like I want to aggregate all of my nodes and then just be like, how many redemption errors per node? Oh, I don't know.
yeah. Just shed the query that I'm using, so you basically can modify it to suit you.
I'm gonna add that to mine so that I'm not missing out.
And you see no errors in your logs at all. You just get a ticket that goes into unredeemed status, and that's it.
Yeah, there is logs, but because the node is quite busy, it's very difficult to filter it out.
So you might have an error, you just don't catch it.
Yeah.
Oh.
There we go. So this is some by location, some by location.
Yeah, some by location, because I'm using Victoria metric, so all the nodes are reporting to one location.
Right.
So
right.
centralizing my data, and I assign location to every single node. We're probably gonna have to change the query a bit. Actually, I just got
13 ticket error redemption tickets. That's not good.
nope.
Livepeer payment receive errors? Wait, no, that's not the same as redeeming, right? Because I get tons of like error receives, but not redemption.
Is the ticket? Yeah, wrong query again. Me
So,
bad.
Like 13 ticket errors, like that. I mean, that's in a day. That's not that bad. It's like I don't even know what those are, but it can be something simple. The payment receive errors. Payment.
Yeah, so I just modified it now. I'll share it.
Livepeer redemption errors. That's the one I want.
Yeah, Livepeer ticket redemption errors.
Okay, let me put that in here. My new little dashboard and apply. Let's see, what am I at? No data. Uh-oh.
No data. It means it doesn't record the query, I'm guessing.
No, I think I just
So
didn't
you probably have
no. I didn't copy it right. I didn't include the increase section.
Yeah, so your query is probably going to be some increase Livepeer ticket redemption errors one day. Yeah.
Oh, right. No data means there probably isn't. If I could do 30 days, gonna get mad at me if I like send it way back.
Give it a go.
Yeah, this says no data. So, but shouldn't it say 0?
So yeah, it just probably worth for everyone keeping an eye on it.
Redeem errors. Okay, well, I'll come back to this later.
I think it just says no data. It doesn't say 0.
Okay.
I have that on in my, like, I have 2 dashboards, so I have some errors, but that was like 7, 10, so like a month ago, like 2 months ago, almost. So there's like
Yeah,
most of the time there's like no data at all.
Right. Okay. So if it says no data, it's probably just sitting at.
Yeah. And I've only seen errors if I didn't have any ETH on the wallet for redemption, like none of the normal errors that Pawn is seeing. Like I haven't seen those in my because like I keep an eye on like those metrics for like I have like 90-day and like 120 days and stuff, but I don't have any errors, so I don't know, that is really weird.
Yeah, yeah, redeeming errors. Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, no data, Varys confirms no data is just there yet. Fine. Cool. Okay, let's continue on. Any other comments around the no tickets, ticket error, redemption errors? Pawn, when you do figure it out, please let us know how to manually redeem it in a forum post or something. That'd be great.
Yeah, not a problem. I will do. But if someone else gonna do it before me, please let me know as well.
Cool. Okay, and let's continue on to the very last topic, which is the Nvidia patch for Windows. Has anyone seen this yet? I've found out with the pool the hard way that the keyless patching process no longer works with Windows by default. Nvidia, yeah. Has anyone seen this? There's a permissions problem.
I think the number of Windows users is declining over time. I'd be curious to know how many people actually still use Windows.
Well, I guess no one in here. Everyone, a lot of people in my pool are still on Windows. Let's take a quick look-see. Yeah, I mean, probably 75% of the pool is still Windows, which has been just putting a lot of errors into my startup binary, because what I was doing was I was just swapping out the DLL with a patched one. But now you cannot modify the DLL, even if you're running the patch process with administration privileges. So the keyless patch no longer works with Windows. There is a guy who created an issue that updated the patching tool to work, so it overrides. I don't even know how. So basically, Nvidia put out a patch saying, "Listen, all our DLLs, you need additional privileges or some sort of." They just locked it down. You can't modify the DLLs. And then this guy came in and updated the patching process tool to override that. So it didn't take them long for them to fix it. However, the maintainer of the keyless project, I guess, is like MIA. And so I think he's got a pull request into, maybe not a pull request, but he has a branch where you can download the correct patching tool, but it's buried in the issues, 42 open issues, so you gotta go and find it. So it's not, if you're just coming into the Livepeer network with a Windows computer right now, like patching is going to be pretty hard unless you're digging through the issues. But it looks like for Linux, nothing has changed, of course. Is why make things hard? Yeah, that's where we're at for Windows. If anyone wants to, yeah, I don't know. If anyone else has this problem, just let them know that they have to go to, where is it? I'll find the link. It's this link right here. Put it in there. This is the patching tool for Windows now, and this is like the only one that works. But yeah, no one here runs Windows. Great. That's my topic. Pretty short topic. Okay, with that being said, any other topics that we haven't covered that we'd like to cover? Live Pioneers sadly had to go, but he had a demo app he wanted to share with us, but he's not here. Any other topics before we sign off? Cool. Okay, well, we'll end it there. Thank you all for coming, making Livepeer the open and decentralized video infrastructure of the world. Thanks for joining in, and congratulations to Authority Null and the launch of Flipguard. We will see you all next week. Cheers.
Thanks, Titan. See ya.
Insult.
Bye, y'all.